Welcome to another episode of the JayWalkin podcast. I'm your host, it's Jay, when we tell it one story at a time and take it one step at a time. How are y'all doing today? I would like to say, it's been a while again that I made an episode. And if you've been an early viewer going on earlier in the days of me just posting content from the the podcast, you notice that I will do it every week on Friday and just continually to, upload. However, I want to take a different approach because since I'm doing school, working a full-time job, while also wanting to create content, not just for the podcast, but just like other things, I'm probably going to do at least every other Friday because one, it kind of spreads out, my need for wanting to just pump out content and just kind of be in a rush. And also it mitigates just a lot of interactions of, okay, I just need to post content and regardless if it's shitty or not. Like I want to at least put at least some effort into the idea of this podcast because the whole grip of me creating this is just to be able to express not only my thoughts and feelings when it comes to just anime or just the things I go through, but also just to kind of utilize this as a way to inspire others. And I want to at least put at least some effort where it is digestible, but then also entertaining. So I'm gonna try this format out with being it once every other Friday. Post at the same time, post on YouTube, and then post on Spotify. Wherever I will place it, and I just want to continue to just do what I need to do. But that's why I wanted to just say in the beginning. But today's episode is all about just talking about anime, but then also talking about quotes that I personally love in anime because one thing about just anime, it always come out with some fire quotes. So when it comes to anime, quotes are always popping up on the internet or just posted on TikTok or spread on YouTube, whatever platform you may think of. Anime is one of the biggest factors of just producing quotes and producing philosophies and just things that can just be utilized in today's world. Because for those who don't know, anime is a reflection of our own world, but told in a different way, whether it's through Japanese, mythology, Chinese mythology, or political views, or even just, social constructs that happens not only in today's society, but even like back then, or potentially what the future looks like. And it just has a broad range of philosophy and just human nature and human behaviors and cultivate it into one piece of art to then just produce to the masses. Now, for those who love anime, you definitely have a full grasp and understanding of what that looks like. But then also you have your favorite quote that you like to repeat to yourself every single time, whether you're down and out, needing motivation, or continue to push yourself. You always have a quote in your mind or a scene that plays in your head. The first scene that comes to my mind, I won't quote it directly, but it's from Attack on Titan when Captain Irwin, is talking to Levi and the Beast Titan. Wait, before I get to it, this is a spoiler warning. So if you haven't gotten that far in Attack on Titan, please go leave this episode, go watch it, the anime at least within season 1 and season 2, and then you can come back to me. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, cool. So in Attack on Titan, when Captain Irwin is talking to Levi, and they have to get to this Beast Titan because the Beast Titan is just chucking the shit out of rocks, and he's basically asking his troops, hey, I need you including myself. I need you guys to just run with me with these horses and go after the beast titan, shoot these flares up so it can blind him and distract him so he doesn't know when Levi, the greatest humanity soldier, that is coming for him. And literally one of the troops are like literally asking him, are you asking us to ride into battle to death or ride into our deaths? And he basically just said yes, yes. But the way he does it is just the quote that always get me. Let me actually try to find the quote because it was such an inspiration, but at the same time I was like, hold up, I do not want to deal with the idea of you want me to ride into my death and then just kind of just not you like think about it or kind of like question it, like what is going on. And it was just let me actually find the quote because I also want to try something new by actually in real time looking at what the episodes is and just kind of what it does. So let me just actually look it up. Let me see. um Let me just find it because I definitely want to like emphasize like the power of this man's quote. Let me see. Let me see. Um, Trying to figure this out. Um, okay, I don't want to read the whole thing, but he's basically talking to this the scout that he's talking to, and he literally gave a power speech that led to his final words. And again, like it's basically trying to turn like their despair and like the dreadfulness of the situation of riding into their deaths to help out the greater humanity is such a great speech to kind of have when it comes to just listening and kind of doing it. But hold on, let me just look it up one more time because I need to do this quote justice. You do this quote justice. All right. So I found the quote for a bit. Hold up. This may be a little weird, so I'm gonna pause it so I can find it and then I'm gonna reactivate it. But you won't tell. But if you can't tell, that's fine. All right, now let me see what I can do. And if it was a weird cut, that's okay. I'll just have to pause it because I wanted to at least find the quote exactly and read it verbatim. So, like I said, he's talking to a scout, and he's basically at like the scout is actually like, "Are you want us to ride in our deaths? What is this?" And he's basically, and this is the like official quote. I won't read it how he would read it, but I'm just gonna try to give as much conviction. Quote: Everything you Everything you thought had meaning, every hope, dream, moment of happiness. None of it matters as you lie bleeding out on the battlefield. None of it changes what a speeding rock does to a body. We all die. But does that mean our lives are meaningless? Does that mean that there is no point in our being born? Would you say that our slain comrades? What about their lives? Were they meaningless? They were not. Their memory serves as an example to all of us. The courageous fallen, the anguish fallen. Their lives have meaning because we, the living, refuse to forget them. And as we ride to certain death, we trust our successors to do the same for us. Because my soldiers do not buckle or yield when face the cruelty of this world. My soldiers push forward. My soldiers scream out. My soldiers rage. Oh my God. Sorry, even though I butchered that, and even though that I'm trying to convey the same message, it's just a mere fact. Like towards the end, I remember it verbatim, and I even get goosebumps thinking about it because the speech that he's giving is basically saying, yes, every hope, dream, goal, and idea you had, throw that shit out the window because when faced with the cruelty of the world, you can't change what a like for instance the speeding rock can do to your body. You can't change what you know not work on your mental health can do for you if you continue to allow it. You can't not necessarily change like your circumstances. You can't change like who breathe life into you. You couldn't choose certain things in your life, but what you can do is how you respond to things and the memories and lessons you learn from either the pain or the people that have either left this earth or left your circle. Like those lives have meaning. Those lives have purpose, and everything that is happening in your life has a meaning and purpose. And when you die, or when you are lost out of the circle, or if you leave this world, your memory is going to live on and give someone else a reason to live or push. So it's such a beautiful thing where you and just hearing Captain Owen's words and just being able to listen to conviction of like my soldiers push forward with the cruelty of this world regardless of what's happening around you or with you. You push forward. My soldiers can do that. My soldiers are able to fight against what is going on and able to achieve their goal, even if it means certain death. The goal is to be the memory of others and leave a legacy. Now, it could mean multiple different meanings, but it's just the part where literally he said they were not. Their memories serve as an example to us all. The courageous falling, the anguish falling. Their lives have meaning because we, the living, refuse to forget them. It is just such a powerful speech. And for those who are not an anime watcher, I highly encourage you just look up Captain Irwin's soldier speech and just listen to the conviction of not only like the Japanese voice actor, but listen to the American dub version because that gives the conviction of the my soldiers push forward. Like every time I hear him say that last part, I just get goosebumps. And it pushes me like during like my chest days or during like the times when I'm in the gym, or even just when I'm having a mental like blockage and just not having a good day. Like my soldiers push forward, my soldiers scream out, my soldiers rage. Every time that part comes on, there's a part in me that just wants to say, I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep going because regardless of what's in front of me, whether it's a rock, depression, anxiety, nervousness, whatever that could be, I'm going to move forward because as someone who been through hell and back, at least for their own personal self, I'm not gonna let like something gonna stop me because 5 years ago, if I let something similar or something different stop me, I wouldn't be in the position I am today. So why should I stop myself from moving forward now when literally I'm able to do it back then? What's stopping me now? So it's such a powerful speech when it comes to that. And there's so many other different quotes that comes up in my life that I always love to use when it comes to just, motivating me, but then also kind of pushing me to be better. So some of the Naruto quotes that I always love to use because I always love Naruto. So one of the quotes, I always like to go to, or at least personally see every time coming up, you know, people who continue to put their lives on the line to defend their faith become heroes and continue to exist on in legend. Now, to me, that means like the people who are willing to sacrifice or the people who are willing to take a risk and being able to just do what they need to do and go even further and put their strength in like either a higher power or within themselves or a combination of both. Not only you'll be like a hero not only in your own story but maybe in another person's story, or maybe be a villain in another person's story, but at some point turn to the hero because you were either right or they have a different perspective. Then they'll become a legend, meaning they'll have that memory. They'll be able to be known for who they were and knowing that they was able to deal with what they have. Another quote that I love too, this was around the time when um Naruto was fighting Neji and they was having a little like exchanges of philosophies of Neji being like, oh, if you're destined to be this or you're destined to be X, Y, and Z or have this, that is it. You are only destined for that. But Naruto is clapping back and saying, like, no, like I can break my destiny. I can run away from it and fight for what I believe in to change it. So one of the quotes that he brings up, he's like, if you don't like your destiny, don't accept it. Instead, have a have the courage to change it in the way you want it to be. And it's plainly simple. Like you have cards in your hand, and for many people, they just take the cards that they dealt with and just kind of move along and coast by. But if you don't like it, you have the power to change it. It just takes, faith and also encouragement and being courageous in order to change what you want for yourself. And I love that quote because for a long period of time, even before anime, I always believed like my destiny was either stereotypical of, being a black man in America, or just the idea of like, okay, once I get my high school diploma, I'm not going to go to college. I'd rather just have a job and just try to work, like a mundane job just to get ends meet and just kind of vibe out and just kind of relax and just play video games all day and just see what happens. Now, I'm not sure if that would be the same idea like 3 years later from that, because streaming has been taking over, the sphere. However, video game streaming is kind of dying down. Mostly people just record, but that's a whole nother topic for another day. But what I'm saying with this quote is like you can go against your destiny. You can go against what the society or social norms, or even this just the idea of just like, hey, this is you and this is the box you are in. Like, no, it takes, courage and putting your faith into yourself, but also something higher than you, if you believe in that, in order to just fight against it. And I live that quote to the T because I always love that idea. And it's just such a powerful thing to have in our minds. Now, I will just go over one more quote. And if you're seeing this on the screen now, obviously, like I'm pulling up quotes because sometimes I don't have the quotes in my head, but there is one quote that I always love, and it's from Itachi. If I can remember correctly, why go left when there's nothing right? And why go right where there's nothing left? I love that quote because at that time, I always believe why always go to the left where there's nothing else can be done or nothing could change, and why go to the right where there's nothing essentially left for you. And now, how I look at that quote, it kind of resembles the same meaning to me, but it comes from a place of, okay, if I go to the left and pick this, alternate route, would it feel right for me? Would it be like, aligned with my thoughts, my beliefs, and can support me? Or would this choice will feel right, but would there be any like, anything left that will either drag me down and be able to kind of snatch me away from that? Or would there anything be left far as like celebration? I don't know how weird or like, philosophical that can be or spiritually, but it was just one of those things that kind of always sparked my interest. But the one quote from him that did like sparked like, just kind of like me thinking more about not only myself, but then other people when he basically told Sasuke during their fight was another person's reality is another's illusion. And I love that quote because what you have in your reality right now could be the best illusion or dream that someone can have. Meaning, like being grateful for like what I have and what my current reality is. Because I'm gonna be honest, my current reality, like, if I could compare it to like maybe people maybe on the other side of the country or maybe even just in another life, I'm sure my life, some people will literally like kill for that. And I'm trying to remember that because there'll be times where I always like to compare myself or compare the work I do or compare like, when I see my bros like just working out, gymming it up, or people just being more successful or have their credentials first or already have their credentials and I'm working with them. But I always come back to that quote of one's reality is another's illusion because I don't know what their reality is. They could be having everything right on Instagram, right? But then all of a sudden behind closed doors, they're dealing with a lot of either sickness or dealing with death in the family or dealing with just things that wouldn't, you know, line up with where I'm at right now. And I'm just trying to say, like, that quote kind of taught me a little bit more to be more grateful, but then also to think about others because again, my reality could be like, yeah, I got $25 in my account, but there'd be someone who may only have $5 in their account. And it's like, I'm grateful for what I have, but then also other people will be like, damn, I wish I had that. Or even for myself, damn, I wish I had that. It just kind of gives some normality of, oh, everyone experienced that. And everyone should, you know, be grateful for the fact that, you know, your reality is your reality and maybe another's illusion. And your illusions may be someone else's reality. So it just kind of gives some normality and just give me some sort of inspiration and purpose. Now, I'm not a big One Piece fan. I wish I was, but I know certain thoughts and just certain like philosophies behind it and seen a couple clips of how it looks. But one of the quotes that I do love that pops up every now and then or a sense of theme is like, no matter how hard or impossible it is, never lose sight of your goal. Off rip, that to me, that's more of like, okay, no matter if I'm struggling, no matter if I'm dealing with a lot, never lose sight of the goal. And it's kind of just like the podcast I have. I took that break and I took that hiatus, and I thought it was going to be hard to come back and jump into it. And I thought it was impossible to try to get my views up because, you know, there's times when I'm looking at the analytics and statistics and I'm seeing like zero plays, I'm seeing zero views, and I see either zero listenings or there's a handful of listens, but it's not enough to whether either it's monetized or I could be like, damn, I did that. But at the same time, I'm not losing sight of the goal because right now I'm realigning things to be the point where I'm able to still do this while also continuing to have a conversation with you guys, keep that podcast going, make merch, and just kind of not being in full steam, but taking a step back to able to take like 30 steps forward, you know? And at first, at some point, I did lose sight of the goal because I was like, damn, I'm not getting anything. I'm not, you know, seeing no views. I'm not seeing none of that. But it's one of those things where I want to keep going, and it may be hard and it might be impossible to be the best podcaster in the world, right? But I'm going to keep going and keep trying until, like, you know, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then, you know, it's been a good run, you know, but we're going to keep trying because I always love to be stubborn, but also I want to see if this works. But it kind of leads into the next one with Ace in the One Piece universe. It's basically simple. We have a life to live of no regret. Simple enough. I want to live my life to the fullest and I don't want to have any regrets. So that's why I'm trying everything now, because if I don't, then the what ifs comes in, or I don't know if I should have did that, or damn, I should have did that. Like, I don't want no what ifs. I'd rather just know that I did it. You know, it kind of reminds me of a Tyler the Creator quote, which is one of my favorite artists, you know, all time that I'll be listening to, you know, every so often when it comes to like his older stuff, but his new stuff just be so creative and different. I listen to all of it. But he basically said, create like a child, edit like a scientist. And ever since then, I just been pumping out content with, you know, either TikToks or either Facebook, Instagram, you know, using CapCut Pro or even the podcast. I just been creating so much, whether it's streaming, YouTube, and anything like that. All of a sudden, I'm just like, okay, I got all these shit out. I got all the creativity out. Now let's pick apart and being able to edit this, make this go together, and just kind of push it out there. Because you're not going to be perfect. You're not going to be perfect in the beginning. And people love authenticity when it comes to just either creating or like being creative or even just, you know, communicating with others. Yes, it may be difficult for some to listen, but the true fans or the true people who are listening to the message and just engaging in the content, those are the people that's going to stick around forever. And lastly, when it comes to the quotes, bring it back to the Dragon Ball Z days. Like, I know there's plenty of Goku like quotes or even things he does. But I love my man Vegeta because when you grow up, you like, okay, Goku, you inspire to be him, right? But when you become an adult, you understand Vegeta, his mindset. Because one of the quotes I love from him, and this is like kind of early on for me, but it was like, I do not fear this new challenge. I rather, actually, no, let me scrap that. I fucked that up. I do not fear this new challenge. Rather, like a true warrior, I will rise to meet it. Like, come on now. Like, I'm going to look at this challenge and I'm not going to be scared of it or worried about, like, I won't achieve it. As a true warrior or as a person that is going to dedicate their time and actually put in work into it, I'm going to meet the requirement or I'm going to do what I'm going to set out to do, regardless of how long it takes or what time it takes. And hearing that from Vegeta and just kind of listening to the anime is such a beautiful thing to kind of know, like, even the Prince of Saiyans, you know, look at challenges and be like, nah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna rise to the occasion. And I usually think about that while I'm in the gym. Like, even though, like, whether it's like the Stairmaster, which I haven't tried yet, but I'm going to whenever I do leg day and kind of finish out with cardio, or if it's a podcast or with a new thing, or even at my current job right now, while I'm trying to different style of coaching, just blending in like my experience being on programming, but then also just kind of having the coaching perspective. I'm gonna meet my expectations and I'm gonna meet, the things that's asked of me and just do so much more. And it kind of leads into like my other, quote that my man Vegeta had. He said, you can take control of my mind and my body, but there's one thing a Saiyan always keep, his pride. Oh, I just got goosebumps. Ooh, but I'm sorry, that was a good one. But what he meant by that is like, and for me, like multiple things could try to control me, whether it's the financial, mental, things that is out of my control or things that's in my control, but I'm trying to choose the best possible option. That can take control of me and that can just navigate and try to like, fuck me and just kind of screw up every single thing that I have. But the one thing you're not going to take away from me is my pride. You're not going to take away the hard work ethic that I have. You're not going to take away the things that built the character of me. And nothing can take that away from me. No one can take away my knowledge. No one can take away my sense of pride. No one can take away my work ethic. And no one's not going to take away, the loyalty that I always have for like the people around me. Those are the qualities you're not going to, get rid of or take out of me because that's authentic to me and no one can replicate that. So I definitely love that quote when it comes to him because it brings, just that raw authenticness, even when things are out of control and things are trying to like take over and kind of push you one way or the other, you're gonna do it. And I always believe in that. And the last thing I like to, use for like as a quote, especially in the gym, is push through the pain, giving up hurts more. And Vegeta, when he said that, I can understand that because where I am today, I went through so much shit that I pushed through like the mental pain that I experienced and the mental, you know, drawbacks that I experienced and all the shit that I had to like overcome. And the times when I did give up, it hurted more because the what ifs or damn, if I would have done this, like I could have did this, or if I didn't do this, then I could have did it. Just it brings up more like self-doubt compared to like, okay, there's self-doubt, but I am still moving forward versus damn, that self-doubt popped up and it won. That stings a little bit more for me at least compared to I'm damn near struggling, but I'm keep going because at least there's some movement, right? Going forward. But giving up, that's just taking yourself and putting you back there in the line. So those are the couple quotes that come up for me. And I know I was reading some off of, the ones on the anime websites, but I wanted to highlight those things because it's truly a blessing and truly a thing where you know, I have all these quotes and it's connected to my real life and it's connected to the world around us. And it's such a beautiful thing to kind of know that not only just in anime, but just any quote in general that you heard in your life. We all have those quotes that gets us through it. We all have those, things we read, the faith that we put in the higher power, or putting faith in ourselves to eliminate that self-doubt and just continue to move forward. It's all a beautiful thing, in my personal opinion. All right. Well, that's the episode that I have for, just affirmations and just mixing it with anime. So what I want you guys to do tonight is take that quote or quotes that you always, repeat to yourself, and just have it either on your wall, your phone, whatever easy access you're able to do, because it's beautiful to keep reminding yourself to keep going, and it's beautiful to know that regardless of what you're going through, you have that affirmation, you have something that will keep you going. I appreciate you guys for tonight. And sorry if there's been like either pauses or rough patches. It's just I'm getting back into the swing of things. There's no such thing as an excuse when it comes to that, but I love this shit and I just get very passionate about it. And how I talk is how I talk. And if you stick around and you listen, then I appreciate you. All right, guys. You guys have a lovely evening, morning, day, night, wherever you at in the world. And you just take one step at a time, because that's all you can do. All right, guys, I appreciate you. See ya.